So it's our Dr. Claire Perfume's birthday on Friday, and this is obviously going to be, thought just make a good Wednesday video. It's a bit of fun in it. The title's obviously a bit clickbaity. I won't be ribbing Claire's collection, but these are some of the best and the worst that she sent me. Not in any particular order. This is not in any offence to Claire. I don't think many of the terrible ones are in a collection anymore, and it's all subjective, isn't it? So it's just a bit of gentle joshing. So we'll get into it. So these aren't going to be overly detailed or long. I'll have spoken about them somewhere before, no doubt. First up is a more recent one, a sample Claire sent me. Don't think she owns the bottle, but this was criminally, yeah. Mugler's Angel Elixir. Well, as a fan of the original Angel, well, a bittersweet fan. You do always want to kind of see what's going on with these classics, but really, we know Mugler doesn't really exist anymore. So yeah, what's this one like? Well, it has a kind of tropical opening. There's pineapple, banana, and then there's a weird woody sandalwood base. I suppose it's like a pleasant enough fruity airy shampoo. Not sure what it's got to do with Angel, this one. And yeah, it's modern, so it doesn't change too much. It's a kind of chocolate oranginess, I don't know. It's basically, this one isn't Angel or anything to do with it, and it's a bit of a chemical disaster, really. But it's what nowadays it's what we expect from Mugler, isn't it? It's something vaguely living off the name of what it used to be. So yeah, that's the kind of first worst one. I imagine some people loved this one. Probably not people who loved the original Angel though. So yeah, that's Mugler's Angel Elixir. The next one is from a brand I didn't really know much about. This is in the good ones, of course, and it's Floral Street's Ylang-ylang Espresso, is it? Yeah, it wasn't awful. I think this one is in there because of the surprise and discovering something new, isn't it? It has a touch of ylang, I suppose, but it's mainly, to me, the rose is the kind of more noticeable one, and you do get some coffee and a nice earthy patchouli, a kind of sprinkle of cocoa. It is dark. The rose becomes quite liqueur-like to me, so it's like a syrupy, almost boozy one. There's a little like leathery hint in there. Maybe it's from the patchouli, and there is a bit of a sort of smoky touch about it. Like I say, this one is good. It's interesting. It's got something about it. Coffee scent I love or hate, and this one does sit more in the love one. It's interesting. It's something different, which nowadays is rare, isn't it? So yeah, that's basically it. Ylang-ylang Espresso from Floral Street. Now next is one from I believe it's quite an indie brand, so there's no shade thrown at the fragrance, of course, or anything, but the fragrance itself did actually make me feel quite sick. Again, it's very unusual and very kind of unique. And it's from a band called Early Modern, I think they're called, and this is Celadon or something like that. Now what's this one like? Well, it opens like very early on with pepper, and a kind of pickled feeling, and some lettuce. The LME is kind of the bit I like. It adds a bit of the old brightness there. and there's an unusual kind of dryness in there, which I don't really have the words to describe very well. In fact, I can't describe it. And 10 minutes in, the pickly thing fades back a bit, and it's very green, like a cabbage patch. And then I suppose we'll call it a kind of chalkiness grows in the base, and it's very bitter and sour though. And then there is a powdery pleasantness around it, and more sweetness comes into it, and it becomes more aromatic and minty. It's the pickledness. That's what got me. And the kind of, it's just really unusual. It is like a cabbage patch one. Again, I don't have anything. I think it's a really clever fragrance, and there's nothing particularly, you know, sharp or what you call overly synthetic, that to a point where it makes you feel a bit ill. It's just the actual fragrance. It was like, what on earth is this? But maybe this shouldn't be in the naughty ones, because it is very creative and it is what it is. So yeah, it was all right, but not for me. So that's from Early Modern Caledonian or something like that. Next we've got another good one. I'm picking one from each brand. That's why, you know, they're you know, not all from the same brand or anything like this. And this is from Theodoros. Now I had tried one or two and I thought they were alright, but this one's, I think I said coffee addict, didn't I? Now this one, it's a kind of beautiful chocolatey coffee. You get a little bit of a caramel feel in it, and it's like a posh festive coffee, I'd say, from Starbucks or somewhere like that. And it does actually kind of take you to being sat in a Costa or Starbucks, and it's got that kind of, you know, that sweet coffee smells that fill the air. It's really pleasant, and it's really, really easy. It's also quite simplistic, and you know, it doesn't try to pretend it's something it's not. It's lovely. Again, for a coffee lover or a non-coffee lover like me, it's really nice. And I think the whole kind of brand has two lines. I think a more expensive one and a cheaper one. I think this falls in the cheaper one. They're excellent, you know. So yeah, I did like this one. So that's Coffee Addict from Kalotinis. Now next in the WTF pile of terrible things, I hadn't actually smelt this one till Claire sent me some, and I also, it's very hyped, and you know, if you love it, good for you. Yeah, you love it. I've tried a few from the Toy series, if you like, of both sides of it. Now this one's Toyboy. Now the opening is promising. A sweet dark rose, some pencil shavings, a kind of sweet fruitiness with warm spices, a little touch of the cloves and stuff in there, and then the sweetness grows and grows and grows, and then I get like some pickled beetroot in there, and then it gets really sharp, and the nutmeg grows, the cashmeran grows and completely envelops it all, and chokes you, and it dries down to just basically a very heavy peppery cashmeran. That's mega heavy. Oh no, it wasn't what I wanted it to be. Let's put it that way, because it was supposed to be like this great rose fragrance, wasn't it? And I've noticed this with all the toys. The opening is really pleasant, like toy bubblegum. The opening's lovely. Then they just turn into these big mega cashmeran bombs. Personally, I don't like cashmeran, and this just really wasn't. It was a no from me. So that's Toy. Who the hell makes Toyboy? Sorry, is it Moschino? Yes, I got it. Now next, we're getting into the really good ones here. Is one I hadn't tried, but I've obviously heard a lot about it on YouTube. That's Kenzo's L'Elephant Jungle, or Jungle L'Elephant, whichever way around it is. And this one's one that's been very hyped, and people have always kind of said, Oh, it's a little bit naughty, it's a little bit dirty. So I was very excited to try this, although I haven't, generally speaking, bonded with any of Kenzo's, let's call them fragrances. But this one changed my mind. It's kind of opens very kind of dark vanilla and spices. As for the dirty touch I was hoping for, you know, the little bit of cumin, not really. Maybe someone used it in the kitchen 6 months ago. That was a bit disappointing. But you do get a bit. And then there's cardamom and mango that start to brighten it up. With the cloves, the caraway is quite prominent. There's a touch of a kind of fruitiness, and the ylang-ylang, and it becomes quite dry and spicy. It's quite lovely, and it slowly becomes like a bowl of dried fruits and spices, like cloves and dates together. And the ylang-ylang shines a bit more. It's dusty and sandy like in the background, and it dries down basically sweet and fruity with that kind of dry spiciness around it. Absolutely gorgeous, really is. It's a lovely one. Yes, I was sad and disappointed it wasn't particularly dirty or carnal or particularly like that. It's a very easygoing, beautiful, dry, spicy kind of vanillic scent. It's gorgeous, really like that one. So that's Kenzo's L'Elephant Jungle, or Jungle L'Elephant. And next we have one from Paco Rabanne, which is, I must say, a brand I struggle with, so we know this is a naughty one. It does have weirdly terrible, but at the same time charmingly retro kind of kitsch bottles, doesn't it? And this one is Fame, so the little jewel encrusted robot. So this one opens very plasticky, plastic fruits, and there's a lot of ambroxan there, a lot of ambroxan. It's very sweet. There's a bouncy touch in there. The sharper musks keeps growing and growing and growing, and then it's like a mango fruit salad with some sort of weird texture. Yeah, so it's a fruity ambroxan bomb. Basically, this is just before the Kashmirian era, so they were using ambroxan quite plentifully. It's awful. It really is. What I will say, what it's not quite got that awful caramelly vomit kind of richness and sickliness about it. If you can cope with the ambroxan, it's your fairly everyday generic fruity fragrance from a bygone era, really. It was awful, but it's by no means the worst thing I've smelt. So that's Paco Rabanne Fate. Next is another favourite, and this one's from Miller Harris. A good couple I could have chosen from State of My Willies. From this, and this one's Found at Dusk. Now, Found at Dusk is remarkably wow. When it takes you kind of back in time, and blackcurrant, it's like a blackcurrant bush, but this one is, you know, it is quite green with a blackcurrant. It doesn't massively change. It's got a nice kind of earthiness in there, and almost kind of minty green with the blackcurrant early on, and then it just gets, you know, a little bit warmer. But it definitely smells of an actual blackcurrant bush, which, you know, we're kids, were playing outside, and you're playing in these bushes, eating these berries and what have you. That's about, very much takes you there, and it's so beautifully done, and it is literally like actually being in the place, which is always appealing with a fragrance, isn't it? When it smells so natural, you actually can transport to the place. And this is one of the things that Miller Harris can do very well, is like whether it's all naturals or not, I don't know, I don't care, but they make them smell like what they're supposed to do. Yeah, I was walking in ice there like a kid. So yeah, that's Found at Dusk from Miller Harris, and was definitely a great love. and one that I enjoy very much now. Now, finally from the WTF, what on earth is this toxic kind of juice, is one that was really, again, really hyped on YouTube, like mega hyped, and people claim that they really loved it, and that's from Afnan, and it's called Rare Tiffany. Now, to say this one opens a little bit rough is it's a bit of an understatement. There is a fairly pleasant ylang-ylang and vanilla, I'm not going to lie, but that's surrounded by like an ocean of sharp ambroxan and sharp floral things. It doesn't really change, it just gets sharper. The pleasant floral feel kind of fades and it's scratchy, and then in the dry down some of the harshness moves back, but you're basically left with a weird, never touched by nature ambroxan bomb of sweet stuff. Maybe, I mean, I don't know, maybe Claire got this and she didn't spray it and do a little dance and wait for 3 years for it to mature, and then put it back in the box and, you know, do another little dance, say a prayer, put it underground for another 6 months and hope it develops. Maybe she didn't do all that with this fragrance. Look, it's all subjective, but the word I'm looking for rhymes with barbage. Absolute utter barbage. Complete utter bit. A steaming pile of bit. It really is. You know, if this was to kill insects or something like that, or to fumigate your house, I'd never want to go back in my house after it. No, and for this to get hype, maybe it was the first fragrance these people had ever smelled. I don't. This really was like an insult to my senses, and I know there may be people out there who love it. Go get your nose checked. No, this was. I'd never call a fragrance bad because, you know, some people like it, someone's made it. I don't think any of them things apply with this one. Anyway, that's Rare Tiffany from Afnan. Let's hope it's rare. And finally, like a discovery from Claire. Obviously this fragrance has been about years and I'd probably smell it about here and there, but she sent me a little sample of it and also got me a bottle for Christmas because I fell so hard for this fragrance. That is Le Petit Robe Noir Black Perfecto from Guerlain. Oh my. What is it? It's cherry, it's leather, it's licorice, it's these unbelievably intoxicating musks. I think that's what it is with it. The cherry, the licorice and all of that, the rosette, etc. are very nice and very pleasant. It's a very lovely fragrance. The leather adds that touch of more, oh, this is really good. And then them musks just put this on another stratosphere for me. Guerlain are not, well, to me anyway, not really known particularly well for their musks. You know, everything's kind of gentle and vanillic and all of that jazz. This one, the musks they're naughty. They kind of, you know, beckon you across and make you want to bury your nose in them and go, oh. It's got that magic about it, this one. I absolutely love it. So, despite all the, you know, the tragic bad ones, and there were more bad ones, I just couldn't find the notes for them, and or the samples because I'm quite disorganised. So yeah, this one is a stunner. That's Le Petit Robe Noir Black Perfecto from Guerlain. You know, going by what I'd said about one of the fragrances a few minutes ago, to describe this video as dit would be pretty spot on. It's terrible. I just wanted to do a little birthday video and it's not best prepared, it's not really coherent, but which of my videos are. But yeah, happy birthday Claire, enjoy your 25th of course. This is kind of the fun of the whole community we have. I swap fragrances with quite a few people regularly, And one of the greatest pleasures in that is, like I said about Lizzie before, we've got such different tastes. You get to smell things you would have never ever ever smelt. Sometimes that can be a wonderful experience. Sometimes a not so wonderful experience. But that's the joy, isn't it? And the other thing is, then you know you've smelt these things, you've opened your palate. And the other thing is about, you know, people generally, no one's offended whether you like or hate stuff. I couldn't care less. If you said Rolling in Love was a pile of garbage, yeah, doesn't affect how I feel about it. So, do you know what I mean? It just is what it is, isn't it? So, yeah, happy birthday, Claire. And also, Claire recently hit 13,000, which is a big deal. And you're watching this because you're a Claire fan, not because you're my fan. Let's face it. Somebody so authentic and kind of truthful and not paid for to hit that sort of numbers, it's really quite impressive. It's all obviously authentic. Claire goes up and down, like the rest of us, but has some really great informative videos. The science videos are just brilliant, aren't they? Nobody else does it. So yeah, I'm not going to waffle on about how great Claire is, we all know. So what about you? Has Claire influenced you to try anything that's either been very, very bad or very, very good? What is the worst thing you've tried recently? Also, if someone's, you know, you do your sample swaps or someone swaps you something, are you honest enough to say to them, I know this one might be a favourite one ever, but what are you thinking? Alright, bye folks, and happy birthday, Claire.